Consumer knowledge. Elaboration processes help us to encode information and store it into our associative network, which is a network of meanings consisting of various concepts organized and stored in memory. The concept is a name or label given to any object or a quality of an object, person, situation, or an idea, such as mouse, love, hot, cool, clean, and so on. These concepts are depicted as nodes, interconnected by lines which represent connections among those objects or qualities. This associative network is part of consumer knowledge, which is defined as the information consumers have learned and stored in memory about brands, companies, stores, people, how to shop, and so on. As consumer knowledge increases, a person can think about a product across a greater number of dimensions and make finer distinctions between brands. For example, a wine connoisseur possesses large amounts of knowledge about wine and can think of it in terms of a variety of attributes such as color, bouquet, nose, acidity, and so on. A novice may only think in terms of one dimension, such as color. When a node is activated, information is recalled via spreading activation. For example, when the sports car node or concept is activated, an impulse is created that spreads to other nodes one after another, and each node that is activated represents a memory or a feeling that is experienced concerning the sports car concept. For instance, activating the concept of sports car may immediately activate several models of sports car that come to mind, and then several key attributes of each of those sports cars. Of course, different consumers possess different memory structures, and the activation of any particular concept or node may result in very different sets of associations. Spreading activation can take place consciously or outside of conscious awareness, which is known as priming, which is an increased sensitivity to certain concepts and associations because of our prior experience or our prior exposure to a concept. It occurs when a concept is activated by a stimulus, and this activation influences consumers' associations positively or negatively without awareness. For example, a consumer research study demonstrated that individuals who were exposed to the Apple logo manifested greater creativity in their use of a common object compared to individuals who were exposed to an IBM logo. This occurred because people link the Apple brand to creativity in their brand schema, but the effect occurs when people are not aware that it may affect their behavior. Within a given associative network, a set of associations are connected to a brand name, and these links represent a consumer's brand knowledge, which is defined as a brand node in memory to which a variety of associations have been linked. Brand knowledge forms the basis for the brand image held by the consumer. If the brand node is linked to a negative attribute or concept, the image suffers. Knowledge is subdivided into two types, episodic and semantic. Episodic knowledge consists of descriptions of events, whereas semantic knowledge consists of information about objects and their properties. If you see an apple, the semantic knowledge will be activated that this is an apple. However, if you see an image of a person bringing plates of food to a table in a restaurant setting, the episodic knowledge, this is a server bringing food to restaurant customers, will most likely be retrieved. Correspondingly, the two types of memories that we have are called semantic and episodic memories. Semantic memories are memories we have of objects and their properties, whereas episodic memories are memories of events, both those that have happened to you personally, as well as those that you have only witnessed or heard of. So which type of memory do you think comes to mind more easily? You probably guessed that since experiences are so vivid, that episodic memories are more likely to be recalled. These tend to be higher in involvement, which also increases their likelihood of being stored in long-term memory and thus recalled later on. So ads that use mini stories or dramas to depict a brand or product being used are more memorable than a mere narration describing the properties or attributes of a product. Now, there is an important subset of a person's associative network known as a schema, which refers to the total package of associations brought to mind when a node is activated. A schema is an organized set of expectations, beliefs, and feelings held by a person about a particular object, such as a brand. The schema for the concept banana has many associations. That it has 100 calories, it is yellow, you don't eat the peel. We also have schemas for brands called brand schemas. Brand schemas contain all of the associations that we connect with a particular brand, such as Geico or Apple. We even have a self-schema, which contains all of our subjective knowledge of the type of person we believe ourselves to be. And sometimes we consider whether a brand schema fits with our self-schema when making a purchase decision. This comparison between the brand schema and our self-schema takes place when we evaluate identity symbolic brands, and this is known as self-image congruity. The associations in schemas can be described along several dimensions, starting with their content. In other words, associations vary in what they are about. One schema for smartphones may contain more technological associations, whereas another contains more symbolic associations. Associations also vary in favorability, uniqueness, and salience. Favorability is how positively or negatively we evaluate a particular association, and uniqueness is the extent to which the association within a schema is also related to other concepts. For instance, fast service is not unique to McDonald's, but the Big Mac is. Salience refers to how easily an association comes to mind. For example, McDonald's may quickly bring to mind the Golden Arches, but less readily brings to mind salads. Brands aim to be linked to favorable, unique, salient associations. Research has shown that when new information is inconsistent with a person's schema, the consumer engages in deeper processing and consequently has improved memory about the stimulus. Thus, marketing messages that in some way deviate from consumer expectations increase cognitive capacity allocated to the stimulus, which increases elaboration. And these conditions enhance the likelihood that information will transfer from short-term to long-term memory. Brand image and personality are specific brand schemas. A brand image is a specific type of schema that captures what a brand stands for and how favorably consumers view it. For example, our brand image of McDonald's may be favorable, and it may include such associations as family-friendly place and quick, tasty food. Now, an image does not represent all the associations linked to a schema, only those that are most salient and that make the brand different from others in the product category. Although we know McDonald's serves low-fat foods, that knowledge may not necessarily be used to form our brand image of McDonald's. We also have images for other types of marketing entities, such as stores, the corporate image, places such as universities, and countries. A brand schema can include specific associations that reflect the brand's personality, which is the way that consumers would describe the brand if it were a person. Research shows that in the United States, consumers describe brands along 5 personality dimensions: sincerity, competence, ruggedness, excitement, and sophistication. Different elements of a brand's marketing mix can influence the brand personality consumers perceive it to have. For instance, a celebrity endorser's personality can reinforce associations with the endorsed brand's personality. Because brand personalities have cultural meanings and reflect cultural values, a global brand may be perceived slightly differently in different cultures. Brand personalities can also be updated based on consumers' exposure to new information. And consumers will respond to a brand personality depending on its fit with their own actual personality, as well as the personality they would want to have ideally, or would want to be associated with. When a brand offering is new, the marketer has to create a schema, image, or personality to help consumers understand what it is, and what it can do for them, and how it differs from competing offerings. Connecting with segments of customers who desire and value the associations connected with the brand image will result in positive responses and purchase behavior.